The grand stage of America's Got Talent glows beneath a wash of golden and violet lights as the next contestant is announced. A hush falls over the audience, the kind that carries both anticipation and skepticism. Onto the stage steps a young Filipino boy, no older than 13 or 14. His suit is neatly pressed, stylish but understated, elegance without arrogance. Rumors have already circulated online that he comes from one of the wealthiest families in the Philippines, a rich kid with every privilege. Some in the audience exchange glances, silently wondering if he is here for attention or if he genuinely has something to offer. The judges study him with a mix of curiosity and caution. Simon leans back slightly, hands clasped, observing every movement. Sophia and Heidi smile politely, but their eyes scan him, trying to read his intentions. Howie gives an encouraging nod, but even he seems unsure of what to expect. The boy reaches the microphone with calm, measured steps. Though young, his posture reflects a surprising poise, shoulders relaxed, chin lifted, no sign of trembling hands. When asked to introduce himself, his voice is gentle, respectful, and warm. He states his name with a soft Filipino accent, drawing a few approving murmurs from the crowd. He doesn't boast or mention his background, in fact, he seems almost shy about the attention. Instead of radiating entitlement, he carries an air of quiet humility that subtly disarms the assumptions around him. As the host wishes him luck and retreats from the stage, the boy takes one slow breath, eyes briefly closing as though centering himself. The lights dim further, and the audience sits forward in their seats. In that silent moment before the music begins, all preconceptions fade, replaced by a single question hanging in the air: can he deliver something truly extraordinary? A soft amber light settles over the stage as the backing track begins. The familiar guitar intro of Hotel California drifts through the auditorium, its haunting melody instantly recognizable. Some audience members tilt their heads in surprise. It's a bold song choice, one deeply associated with powerhouse vocals and emotional depth. The judges exchange subtle looks, the kind that say, this could either fall flat or be unforgettable. The boy lifts the microphone with both hands, not gripping it nervously, but holding it with intention. His eyes aren't darting around, instead, they rest momentarily on the far balcony seats, as if he's singing to someone distant and unseen. Then, with effortless control, he begins the first line. His voice is smooth, rich, and unexpectedly mature, nothing like the audience anticipated from someone so young. There is a slight rasp in his tone, the kind that carries years of soul despite his age. A few people in the crowd gasp softly. Simon's eyebrows lift, an involuntary reaction he rarely displays so early in a performance. Heidi leans forward, resting her elbows on the judge's desk, eyes locked on him. As the verse continues, his phrasing feels deliberate, not just memorized. Each word lands with emotion, as though he isn't merely singing a song but telling it from memory. The camera pans across faces in the crowd, some surprised, some moved, some already smiling in disbelief. The energy of the room shifts from polite curiosity to pure attention. Even the backstage crew, used to hearing hundreds of auditions, gathers behind the curtains to listen. The hush is no longer skeptical, it's reverent. Without theatrics or big gestures, he begins to command the space with a voice that seems older than his years. And with every note, the idea that privilege brought him here fades, replaced by something undeniable: this boy might actually be extraordinary. As the performance moves into the second verse, the audience's reaction evolves from surprised silence to quiet awe. The boy's voice doesn't just maintain its strength, it grows richer, layered with emotion that feels far beyond his years. The lighting shifts subtly to deeper tones of blue and gold, bathing the stage in an atmospheric glow that complements the building intensity of the song. The judges are no longer simply observing, they are invested. Heidi presses one hand gently to her chest, eyes glistening. Sophia leans forward, elbows on the desk, lips parted in disbelief. Howie nods subtly along with the rhythm, his eyes reflecting a mix of respect and wonder. Simon, often expressionless during auditions, studies the boy with sharpened focus, his usual poker face softened by something close to admiration. The camera sweeps across the audience, capturing faces full of emotion. Some listeners grip their seats, while others close their eyes to better take in the sound. A few visibly wipe at tears, caught off guard by the tenderness in his delivery. It's no longer about the novelty of a child singing an iconic rock ballad, it's about the truth he's pouring into every note. As the chorus approaches, his voice rises, not in volume alone, but in feeling. The rasp in his tone brushes against the melody like a spark against wood, igniting the moment with raw sincerity. Each lyric lands with weight and intention, resonating through the auditorium. In the wings, crew members and contestants waiting their turn pause to listen. A teenager backstage mouths along to the words, astonished that someone so young could handle such a classic with maturity and soul. By the time he transitions into the instrumental bridge, the energy in the room has transformed. What began as curiosity has become connection. Without a single dramatic gesture, the boy has woven his voice into the heart of every person listening. As the song nears its end, the boy's voice rises into the final chorus with a strength that no one anticipated. Each note is delivered with precision and emotion, not forced but flowing naturally, as though the music is moving through him rather than being performed by him. The instrumental swells beneath his vocals, and the audience, almost unconsciously, holds its collective breath. He closes his eyes for the last line, letting the final note linger in the air. It vibrates with a depth that feels both haunting and beautiful, hanging there for a moment that seems to stretch in time. Then, as the music fades, silence blankets the auditorium, thick, electric, almost sacred. For a full second, no one moves. No one claps. No one speaks. It is the kind of stillness that only follows something breathtaking. Then, as if released from a spell, the audience erupts. The applause begins as a roar, quickly rising into a standing ovation. People jump to their feet, clapping, cheering, whistling. Some wipe away tears they didn't expect to shed. Phones are raised to capture the moment, and even those in the balcony are on their feet. On stage, the boy lowers the microphone gently, his expression a mixture of disbelief and restrained joy. He doesn't throw his hands up or bow dramatically, he simply looks out at the crowd with wide, grateful eyes. Confetti hasn't fallen yet, but the energy in the room makes it feel like it could at any second. Behind the judge's desk, Heidi and Sophia stand immediately, applauding with genuine emotion. Howie is smiling broadly, nodding with admiration. Even Simon, the most notoriously reserved, stands slowly, hands pressed together in appreciation. In that moment, the boy is no longer seen as the rich Filipino kid. He is simply the artist who just captivated thousands with a song older than he is, an artist who didn't just sing Hotel California, but made everyone feel it. The sound of applause still fills the auditorium when the boy steps back slightly from the microphone, unsure of what to do next. The judges are on their feet, clapping with an energy rarely seen during auditions. For a moment, he simply stands there, blinking up at the lights and the cheering crowd, his chest rising and falling as though he's just woken from a dream. Sophia is the first to speak, her voice thick with emotion. That didn't sound like a performance. It sounded like a memory, she says, placing a hand over her heart. Heidi nods, still visibly moved. You didn't just sing the song, you honored it. Howie leans forward, smiling broadly. I've heard that song thousands of times in my life, but never like that, not from someone your age, not with that kind of soul. The audience applauds again, encouraged by his words. Then all eyes turn toward Simon. He studies the boy for a long, quiet moment, his expression serious, but not unreadable. I wasn't expecting that, he admits, his tone softer than usual. There are voices you remember for the rest of your life. Yours is one of them. The boy's lips part slightly in surprise, but before he can respond, Simon shifts his gaze to the golden buzzer. The crowd senses it before it happens. A wave of cheers ripples through the theater as Simon rises to his feet and presses the buzzer with firm certainty. Instantly, the familiar sound effect echoes across the room, followed by an explosion of golden confetti cascading from above. The boy's hands fly to his face in disbelief. Tears gather in his eyes as the judges step forward to congratulate him. The audience stands again, louder than before, celebrating not status, not wealth, but talent, humility, and heart. At that moment, the world isn't seeing the richest Filipino boy. They're witnessing a star being born.